You ever wake up one day thinking you've finally made it only to have the universe punch you right in the gut? Yeah, that was me. I built my dream house. No, my sanctuary. Up in the Colorado Rockies, carved it out of pine sweat and about $1 million in solar design money. 10 acres. Just me. The elk, the wind, and enough granite to keep the world at bay. I didn't win the lottery, I earned every nail and every square foot. That cottage was my victory lap, a 3-year testament to stubbornness and a touch of insanity, if you ask my friends. But hey, you ever stand on your own deck as the sun melts into the mountains? You start to believe in second chances. My land wasn't anywhere near those Timberline Summit Estates folks down the road. Oh, the type rows of cloned houses, lawns trimmed like golf courses, HOA presidents with more rules than sense. My boundary lines were on every plat map, stamped and notarized till kingdom come. Freedom for me meant paperwork you could swing in a judge's face if anyone got cute. So imagine me fresh off a red-eye from Geneva. Yep, I was out there talking carbon reduction and self-sufficient living to folks in $1,000 suits, driving home up the winding road feeling proud, peaceful, tired, you name it. But as I hit that last curve, something didn't feel right. When the air just goes cold, my ridge looked wrong, open raw, like somebody had taken a bite out of the view. My stomach did that slow roll you get before bad news. I parked, stepped out, and my house was just gone. I'm not talking broken windows or graffiti gone. Flattened, nothing but dirt, twisted metal, my solar panels smashed like dead bugs, and the stone chimney I'd sweated over reduced to a pile of gray bones. The silence was the worst. You could hear gravel crunch under your boots, and every step just sounded like a funeral. Off to the side, a yellow bulldozer idled next to a sign, Property Redevelopment by Timberline Summit, HOA. I stared so hard I thought I'd make sense of it by willpower alone. I didn't. Cue the white SUV, rolling up doors, open and out steps. This woman designer coat sunglasses, big enough to start their own weather pattern. Mr. Riley, I presume, she says, all fake smile and committee charm. Karen Montgomery, HOA president. I didn't move. I just asked, what the hell happened to my house? She rattled off something about a mix-up, contractors misreading site coordinates, a terrible clerical error, but don't worry, they'd make it right. She offered me 20 grand. 20 grand. Lady, my kitchen appliances cost more than that. She kept smiling, started talking about how the association wasn't liable for mistakes made in good faith. Good faith, my ass. I picked up a chunk of my old mantle, still smelling like varnish and smoke, and told her, "You'll hear from my lawyer." She just shrugged, said, "Surely a man of your means doesn't need to ruin lives over a simple mistake." I told her, "Lady, you already ruined mine." That night I didn't sleep. I sat in a folding chair cradling gas station coffee, staring at the wreckage. Every gust of wind sounded like laughter at my expense. I wasn't going to cry, wasn't going to scream. I was going to sue. By 8 a.m., I was on the phone with Lydia Bowers, top property rights attorney in the state, the kind who could make a judge shiver just by clearing her throat. When I told her the story, she went dead quiet, then said, "Matt, this is going to get messy for them." I dumped every document I had on her deeds drone shots, a photo of the HOA sign planted like a trophy on my ashes. By noon, she'd confirmed what I already knew. My land was never under HOA control, not now, not ever. But then she told me something that set my teeth on edge. There's a document on file with the assessor's office, 3 months old, lists your parcel as temporarily inside Timberline Summit zone. That's impossible. I said my granddad locked that down in the 90s. The signature doesn't match any official records. Matt, we might be looking at forgery. Suddenly, it wasn't just about losing my house. It was about someone covering their tracks. I gave Lydia power of attorney. Headed down to the county office myself, got a folder with a subdivision adjustment filing stamp so fresh the ink was barely dry. The signature didn't match the older forms, smelled like a setup. So why expansion revenge? Either way, by Monday, Lydia had filed with the county court wrongful demolition forgery, unlawful jurisdiction. She requested an emergency injunction and got it the same day. That evening, who do you think knocks on my trailer? Karen herself, dressed for brunch perfume, fighting with the stink of desperation. She upped her offer to 30 grand. I laughed, couldn't help it. You think this is about money? She tried to act like I was being unreasonable, like I should just take the check and disappear. I told her, you might want to check the authenticity of your documents before the judge does. Her jaw tightened. She didn't reply, just clacked her way back to her SUV. That night, my phone buzzed. Local news had picked up the lawsuit. There was a picture of me standing in front of the ruins looking like I wanted to murder someone with a clipboard. That was when the intimidation started. First a pickup truck unmarked parked across the road day after day, then 2 figures in hoodies showing up at night, one waving what looked like a gun. I hit the loudspeaker. You're on camera. Leave now. They ran, but not before pointing the thing at my trailer. Turned out it was a toy, but in the dark I wasn't laughing. The twist. One of the teens was Tyler Finch, son of a contractor on the HOA's payroll. Yeah, coincidence, right? Lydia slapped them with criminal complaints for harassment, sent it to the county prosecutor, who called me and said, this may be conspiracy if it's linked to the HOA. Next day, I found a note on my truck. You think a court case makes you untouchable? Drop it while you can. Classic intimidation play. Lydia told the HOA's lawyer that next incident we'd take it federal. Suddenly, all the offers stopped now. It was procedural delays and requests for mediation, the old run-out-the-clock routine. We weren't biting. Lydia brought in a forensic doc analyst, Glenn, who compared the signatures. This is a forgery, he said, plain as day. We took the findings to the real municipal liaison. Turns out he'd been out on medical leave when the form was filed. He signed an affidavit right there in the office. That was it. The HOA had forged jurisdiction to flatten my house. Lydia hit them with a fraud claim, and the judge ordered them to turn over all internal emails. Buried in the emails was a smoking gun, Karen writing, if we move quickly on parcel 14B, there won't be time for pushback. That was my land. The DA got involved, fraud division came knocking, and suddenly the HOA board wasn't so smug. Karen gave a press conference blaming contractor confusion, but 2 hours later, the real municipal official went live on TV and flat out said, that's a forged signature. Never came from my office. The story blew up. Neighbors started stopping by. Some apologized. Some brought coffee. One guy just sat in silence. Turns out Karen had done this before. A voicemail from a stranger told me she'd run someone else out of town with her tricks. The HOA tried for a summary dismissal in court, but the judge shot it down. Now, it wasn't just civil, it was criminal. I walked into the county courthouse, steel-toed boots, press shirt, face set like stone. It was packed, reporters, neighbors, HOA members, you name it. The trial was a mess. Wrongful demolition, forgery, intimidation, the works. Lydia, cool as ice, walked the jury through every bit, the timeline, the fake document, the emails, the harassment. Best moment. The contractor on the stand admitting he'd never checked the paperwork. Just took Karen's word and bulldozed my life on her say-so. Lydia pulled up the email, the one about no time for pushback, and asked Karen, did you write this? She tried to play coy, but the truth stuck out like a busted fence post. The jury wasn't fooled. Neither was the judge. 2 days later, boom, verdict, liability on all counts. Over $1.5 million in damages and an injunction to keep the HOA off my land forever. Karen's face, well, you know that look people get when they realize their life just flipped. Yeah. I left the courthouse just wanting to go home, except there was no home left to go to. All that was left was ash and the first snowflakes of winter. After the verdict, things fell apart for Karen and her kingdom. County Fraud Division launched a real investigation, and Karen got a criminal subpoena within the week. Her mugshot hit the news before she had time to bleach her roots. Forgery, conspiracy, fraud, abuse of authority. The board started resigning, neighbors demanded transparency, and within a month, Timberline Summit HOA was dissolved in a community-wide vote. They reformed as a voluntary co-op with zero authority over properties like mine. Imagine that sanity in suburbia. As for me, I started plans for a new house, bigger, better off-grid with backup batteries and water storage. I donated a chunk of the settlement to a legal fund Lydia and I started for other HOA victims. The stories poured in, folks from all over fighting fines for carrots, flagpoles, you name it. Karen's fall was slow and quiet, resigned from the board, lost her license, disappeared from town. Her name got wiped off newsletters and bake-off rosters. Last bit of justice. Turns out she'd encouraged the intimidation stunt, called it a harmless scare tactic in an email. The court called it witness intimidation and handed me another settlement. I put it toward rebuilding. By spring, the new house was up, cedar foundation, steel beams, triple glazed windows. You could feel the mountain breathing again. The contractors brought me a wooden sign, "No HOAs past this point." I nailed it up with a smile. 1 year after losing everything, I threw the biggest mountain party anyone could remember. Brisket, bluegrass neighbors, even the county clerk. Someone gave me a fake parcel map in a plastic frame, authority to demolish per Karen's crayons. We laughed until the stars came out. So here's my question. What would you have done if they bulldozed your dream and tried to buy your silence with chump change? Would you fight or just move on? Drop your stories or your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you ever need a reminder that justice can still win, just remember, I've got a laminated map by my door to prove it.